we need to move away from this stigmatization and anti-human rights framework and treat it like how we treat other substances that can, just as coffee, can have an effect on you. But not, okay, well, medicinal is safe, so let's only deal with that. I disagree with that. I've said
it's a cop-out, so to speak.
It's a kind of a cop-out.
And it doesn't speak to the hundreds and thousands of innocent individuals
who have been
especially young
incarcerated.
people. Correct.
And their lives destroyed.
Correct. Or stuck
simply
in remand.
for smoking a
can't even get a
spliff, whatever. I've
case
never
yet.
spoken one.
Yeah.
I've had the oil and so on. But the point is, how do you get from that?
Right.
And the science shows you that in comparison to other substances, psychoactive substances and so on, it doesn't harm the individual the way alcohol can. I mean, the science is very clear.
Yeah.
There are question marks about young children and young people, and I know that is controversial still, but we felt, yes, to be on the safe side, it should be adults. Just as it's adults for alcohol. And I don't know about you, when I was growing up, my parents didn't allow me to drink coffee.
No,
so make your head hard, right? So there are lots of substances, exactly.
Yep.
So which we believe that there is some evidence that it could impact the brain of
course,
on develop. So that's
of course.
But generally, cannabis has been proven scientifically. What it does is it sort of makes you calmer as opposed to making you aggressive. Of course, not when you mix it with all the things that they're doing.
Like anything
We're not
else.
talking about that, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the pure cannabis. You don't go out and shoot people when right? So you're not harming other people. And people don't understand that because they think, okay, well, drugs, and they mix it. So we have this stigmatization still, whereas that's the wrong approach in my view. So don't just isolate. Okay, if you're going in for medicine, then it might be okay, but everything else put you in jail. No. We should not be destroying lives.
It's counterproductive. Right. Yeah. And it's what has had us, I say, stuck in the mud for so long.
Yes, it's like a vicious cycle.
Legislation and moving forward and our education system.
So I think they don't go far enough, in short.
They're afraid almost to make those decisions and take accountability.
Exactly. Because there are still people in the society, less than before, a lot less than before. Certainly in Jamaica, what we found from our statistics and so on, our surveys, the minute the law was changed, perception started to change. So it went from like about a 60-something% felt it was okay, cannabis was okay, to 90-something%. And this was like 2018. So it's probably now it's close to 100%, including the churches and whatnot. But I don't know that Trinidad has stuck with it. So it's not clear to me where we are in Trinidad and Tobago in terms of perception. But certainly, and all over the Caribbean, perceptions have changed. But certainly there's more work to do in terms of educating people as to what the substance really is, what the plant really is, what it can do, what it cannot do. Yeah? And that would account for politicians being safe. So that's why it said, we're not going to do whatever it is they said they're not going to do.
This, not that. Yeah.
But nevertheless, we do find that once you begin to change the law, because law is a social engineer, once you begin to change the law, you change perceptions. But I would still maintain we need to do this in conjunction with continuing research and continuing social involvement, continuing the conversations with those who have been using cannabis for many years. I met many people all over the Caribbean, mainly Rastafarians, but not only Rastafarians, who would come because we had these public consultations, which was rather interesting, quite fascinating actually. And they would come to the mic. Some of them were doctors, some of them were lawyers, some of them were, I think we even had a couple of politicians who would say, I've been using cannabis all my life. So here am I today, successful. It was very good to have that kind of, because again, you had this image where people, so we need to have
all of
more
those
of the openness and the discussion and so on. And again, there will need to be some regulation, of course, especially like with young people, things like driving, because if you are high or what have you, obviously you don't want to be driving, things like that. But this stigmatization, we need to educate people as to what it is and what it is not.
10 pound.